It is a big day for the dump truck build. Today should be the day that we get all the parts and pieces and components of the cab reassembled. But I don't know what I'm doing, so let's see what happens. So this is where it sits now. If you remember, we've got the dash back installed, a little bit of soundproofing in, or sound deadening installed. We still got quite a bit of dash components to go, and we started getting this side all put back together as well. We do have to do some work on the steering column today. We're going to swap some components over to a different column. But the first place we're going to start is with the rest of the sound deadening. I think where I want to start is getting that floor sound deadening finished up, and then going ahead and doing a little sound deadening on that back wall as well. I did salvage the carpet that goes on that back wall out of that truck, so we will have that. This is the product we're using. It's called Kleeman. It's just foil on this side and adhesive on that side. There's a lot of products for sound deadening on the floor. You take that off the back, you take the adhesive, and I got these rollers. It's a 3-pack of different size rollers, and we just smash her into place. Now I've got this to go down on top of all that when it's all said and done. That'll be the final floor protection, and it came with some of this carpet, but I'm not going to use that carpet. I'm kind of dead against carpet, honestly, on the floor underneath. We'll talk about that a little bit later. You're going to be blown away by the professionalism here. The overlapping, I think, is really what sells the professionalism. I didn't know if I was supposed to try to cut these and get them to butt up perfectly or just overlap them, so I went with the overlap look. I didn't know how well they're going to form to the floor pan, but I was actually pretty impressed, and it's really pretty user-friendly. I'm sure there's better techniques to use than this, but this is what I ran with, and I'm not too mad about it. I don't think that looks too bad. I'd like to go ahead and get that back carpet on next, get that back side cleaned up, and do some sound deadening on that as well behind the carpet. But this, we salvaged this out of the 94. It's got clips there, and then it had a piece of metal that went across the top and trim pieces that clipped the sides. So I got to kind of figure out what's going on with that, and I got to remember what all this does, because I don't have the slightest clue. Well, let's just take a look at this one. There's the holes where the carpet was. They just kind of pushed in there, and then there's a clip for the metal clip that went above that, kind of went below the window to that. Well, I guess a fellow just needs to figure out kind of about where those are at, and we'll just drill some holes. Suppose I probably ought to get her pretty centered in the cab for the trim pieces to work out right. Just put a crease in it like that. Oh yeah, I mean that's just, look at that, huh? 53. What's half of 53? Beats me. 26 and a half. A few people said when I go to paint this, I need to pull all the glass out to do it right. I think you're confused about my level of care. But 2, 3 Phillips screws out. Then we'll put the carpet up there, make a couple marks, see if we can't pop a couple holes in for those clips. So we've got the holes made for the carpet. I need to order some more carpet clips, and I got a buddy who does detailing. He's going to clean this carpet up for us and clean that seat up for us as well. When we're all said and done, I may have him do the whole inside of the truck. But that is modified the way it needs to be, so now I'm good with getting this cleaned up and putting the sound deadening over top of it. I think we're just going to do the whole back wall. I do have my ventilation fan going, and it does do a pretty decent job. We're going to go heavy with the overlap technique again, because that's just, we're just going with it. I didn't really know what thickness to use, so I just did the right thing and guessed whenever I ordered it. The biggest thing I was concerned about was making sure this was going to be a closed cell foam, so I wasn't having anything that could hold or retain water and contribute to rot in the future. We've got that all done up. Looks good. We got the holes for the carpet clip sitting there between this sound deadening and the carpet that's going to go on the back. Should work pretty well in the back. We'll be able to keep her under 1,000 decibels in here. So we've got 2 steering columns. This is the one out of the 7.3, that green cab. This is the one out of the 460 that F350 went and picked up. I'd like to run this steering column. The harnesses are the same, but I'm guessing there's going to be some differences in wiring. And since this went with the dash components and the engine that we're using, I feel like this is going to be the simpler bet. Also, the mechanism seems to work quite a bit better in this one. That does mean we have to swap this over, but this came off of that F350 because I thought I was going to use this steering column at first. Okay. Maybe a few taps from a hammer, huh? They call me crazy. Those look identical. They look similar enough, though. It's just a steering column. How important could it be? I don't know. Look. That slides on that perfect. I think it'll work. I'm going to say it'll work. Length appears to be the same. This boot looks to be in much nicer shape, though. Seen some better days. Can we swap those over? Is that something that's doable? What just happened? Hold on to everything. Oh, it just keeps it centered. Turn it. Okay, well that's something. Next we're swapping this back over to here. So this little piece right here rides in a little hole right there, and that slides contacts up and down inside this switch. And I'm confident that that's supposed to be lined up one way or another. But boy, a fella couldn't tell you how. I'm sure it's in my tech manual that I keep choosing to not read for some reason. Sad thing is, someone actually gave me instructions specifically on how to do this, and I've already forgotten. Let's go ahead and get this slid in.
Get in the hole. Can't get it there. Come on.
Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. There we go. Here's that plug, the ignition switch we were just talking about. That goes right there. And then this semicircle one, half moon, I don't know what you want to call it, gets plugged into there. So we'll make those connections. All right, so I got one nut I got to get on underneath that secures the dash. Honk, honk. Yep. We got a lot of this wiring harness stuff, but I don't have a clue where it goes to. No, it goes right here to this. Oh, look at that. We got a whole bunch of trim pieces for the dash component. That should be for the radio, lights, fuel switches. This should snap in right here. We got the fuel pump. At least they had it wired up as the fuel pump for on-off. But that's this right here. Should be this plug right there. Two questions for it. Does anybody remember where the choke cable went through? And a follow-up where I put my DeWalt flashlight at. So I got 3 out of the 4 holes found for where the bench seat attaches to. I want to pick up some new bolts, but I don't remember what size bolts they were. So I just picked this up off Amazon. No partnership, no affiliation. It's something I've been wanting to get for a while. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out. But like I said, just something I bought with my own money that I thought would help me out. It's a thread finder. It's got metric and standard. It's got the threaded end, so you can figure out that side of it. It's got the female end as well, and it's all labeled really well. And it's got this little foam insert that kind of holds everything. It wasn't too crazy expensive. I'm sure it's not what the professionals would use, but I think whenever I need to figure out what size nut or bolt I need, it's going to be perfect. Should save me a bunch of time. It's got the size and the thread count on there. I'm guessing this is a 3/8, but I don't know. So those are going to be 3/8 by 16. I'll double check the other side. See if we can get these seat belts off and out of the way. Very smooth. Try to get this seatbelt anchor out of the way. And this one, that one's kind of messed up though, so we might have to do a little welding on that. Picked up a new starter relay too. I think the other one is okay, but these are fairly inexpensive and it's just one less thing we've got to worry about. So this I'm excited about. We talked about it a little bit in a previous video, but we did so well on selling parts off the parts truck that we just recently got that I decided to save myself some time and trouble.
Come, get out of the box.
What's in the box? And we went ahead and just ordered a new front clip. It was $200. But the amount of time it's going to save me, I think, was worth it. Especially, like I said, we did pretty good on that parts truck. And in this moment in time, where are you guys looking? We're over here. At this moment in time, I want to go ahead and put this front clip back on. It should be okay as far as reinstalling the cab. Just means we got to come pretty much straight down over the engine. But we should still be able to clear, I think. Well, there could be a time that I regret this, but you guys will know if you keep watching the channel. Does anybody remember how that went on there though? If I remember correctly, that's where these brackets that I salvaged off the other front clip. Yeah, like that. Except probably the other bracket is just reversed. So, like that. This bracket, this way. Just kind of get everything started loose. And so I buzzed where I could in with an impact. I'll have to get the rest with a ratchet, since I already put all these other accessories in their way. But no reason we can't go ahead and take the wires off the old relay here. Should be our exciter wire. Oh, dang it. I'm looking for that last little thing to finish off the day. I got just a little bit of time left today, and I want to go ahead and start getting these ready. The factory ones have this quick connect on the end. The ones I got to replace it do not. So I want to put that quick connect on the ones I got to replace it so we can just plug them right in. The catch is, I don't know which one's positive and which one's negative on here, so we got to try to figure that out. I got a brown and a black wire. Now my guess would be the brown would be positive and the black would be the negative, but I just want to verify that. So I've got my jump pack with my continuity extenders here. Here's the LED one. Beautiful. Let's figure out which one it is on this. If this bulb even works. Here we go. Wild turn of events doesn't seem to matter with that style of bulb. Definitely matters with the LED though. Could we look at the wiring diagram on the tech manual? Well, sure. Are we going to? No, we're going to do all the work first. It's 11 o'clock, a few mornings later. Let's go ahead and get that nut welded on and that one bolt out of there. I didn't want to do it the other evening. I don't like to weld on something inside and walk away from it in case an ember gets somewhere and hides until later in the night. We'll do it today and then I'll feel a little bit more comfortable about it. So I drilled that out with a step bit, so I got some penetration into it. I can set that nut on there and actually get some good weld down into the bolt. That always works better for me for a really good hard stuck bolt. For smaller bolts, normally just welding on the top of it will get you covered. But also, if you ever do a lot of welding or cutting and you got the chance to snag some old, well, these aren't road signs, but if you're from the industry, you know, you get the chance to snag some old signs. They're great for little lightweight shields against stuff. The smartest thing is to do this before it's even a problem. You know, before you get this far in the process, but there we go. Easy peasy. We'll let the fumes clear and this cool down a little bit. We'll do just a touch work to that metal there. It's hard to find a set of work pants that is durable but comfortable at the same time. So if you got recommendations, I'd be up for those. You know what else I want to pick up is like a small magnet. So whenever I'm done doing the drill work, I can clean all my shavings up. Next thing I need to do and get knocked out today, this is the transmission cover we're going to use. It needs to be cleaned up and treated with OSPO. We gotta get this old, whatever this sealant is that they used. Gotta get that off there. I was hoping to do some paint on that roof. Should have that part done. So one of the awesome things, I don't know where to clip this when I have the respirator. One of the cool things about the career I have, well, one of the things about the career I have, it's hard on your lungs. And I'm fortunate enough to be somewhere that actually cares. So we actually get pulmonary function tests every year. Your lungs is something a fella can't see, so you just kind of feel like they're okay. But the computer doesn't lie. And my lung age is 54. I'm 37. So that's not great. Also, one of the reasons I went with the Benchmark Abrasives face shield, because it's molded to fit around a respirator like this. So you get full face protection and you can still protect your lungs a little bit. Hey. Cool. Yeah, I should have been doing that years ago. I don't taste metal right now. That's probably the way it's supposed to be. We're going to degrease it, we're going to acetone it, we're going to OSPO it. I had some people recommend spray bottle for that OSPO for faster application. I think that's a great idea. I'll probably pick some generic bottles up next time I go to the hardware store. This stuff is like 40 bucks a gallon, I think, but it seems to go pretty far. Caught the fender on the way in. This is getting worse. This is a vinyl I got to go on the floor. This is the final thing. I'm not gonna do carpet, and the reason I'm not gonna do carpet under the floor, anytime I ever see rot, it normally seems to be because that carpet is in there, it's a sponge, it's holding that moisture, and it just seems to rot out faster. So I'm not too worried about it. Not my daily driver. I don't need it to be the most comfortable, but between the kill mat and the stuff on the bottom side, I think it'll be good enough to drive. And then this should give us that good durable finish to protect it. You can see I've been walking all over it. Here's what it looked like brand new. It'll never look like this. It'll always look worse than this. This is the front. Yeah, transmission tunnel gave that away. Position mat in vehicle, make sure it fits the contours of the floor pan before trimming. Most vinyl mats are slightly wider than needed to assure proper coverage, which means we got to get it in there and then kind of trim it to how it needs to fit, which is what I want to do. Now, obviously, we're not ready to install this yet. The shift tower has to go in first before this can be installed over the shift tower, and we can't put the shift tower in until we get the cab on the truck. But the idea, what we've been trying to do, is once we get the cab on the truck, this is ready for the back carpet. That'll be trimmed and ready so it can go in. Then the seat goes on. That's why we've got the bolt holes ready for the seats. The seat belts are ready. We got the bolt holes ready for that. And then we can get trim seats. We can just hopefully put stuff in instead of having to fix it as we go like we've been doing this whole time. Really liking this process. Looks like it's got to be trimmed quite a bit, so you can see the transmission tunnel. You can see that line. I mean, there's no way that's going all the way up there underneath behind anything. I've been trimming a little bit, but I think if I pull this gas pedal, I think I can run this up quite a ways. So we'll have to trim around the door trim a little bit yet, but still. That was 30 minutes trying to get this fit, and it's 30 minutes we don't have to do in the future. Now that it's pretty much molded or beat to the shape it needs to be in, I'm debating if I just want to taco it up inside or just pull it back out real quick. Temps have come up quite a bit today. They're supposed to be somewhat decent tonight and the next few days. So I think we're good to go ahead and roll the first coat. Did he say roll? No, he said roll. He did. I use this Rust-Oleum farm implement. I've always had really good luck with it. My biggest complaint is how long it takes to dry, but I had several people recommend adding a little hardener to it. So we're going to try that this time around. We talked about it on another video, but the paint theme for this truck is an old Ford tractor. So the top of the cab is going to get this Ford gray, and the rest of the cab will get Ford blue, the ag colors. And then we'll get a decal made like the white stripes that go down the hood of a Ford tractor with whatever we decide to name this truck. I didn't put much in there. I wish I had a smaller thing so I could have a more accurate measurement. I just did a couple glugs. Hopefully that's good enough. Makes me a little nervous. Biggest thing that's got me not happy right now is I can see a lot of fiber from the roller. So there's that. I wouldn't call her professional. She's got the dimplage going on for some aerodynamicy, but it should certainly help against the rust. Well, we're looking good on the cab, that's for sure. Next video, we're back on this. Drive shaft's done. Exhaust manifolds are painted and ready to go, and I got the couple pieces I need to get the exhaust welded out. You can see there's some fuel lineage going on as well. Get those odds and ends finished up on the bottom side. They'll be ready to put the cab on top. A few connections, a lot of connections, some hopes and some prayers, and she might actually be a rolling driving chassis. We'll see though, but only if you're subscribed and have your notifications turned on. That's the only way you're going to see how this thing turns out. It's getting close. And lumber's been ordered for the YouTube yacht because we're going to be getting kicked up on it again here real soon as well. Right on schedule. I did say mid-March, and we're definitely towards the end, but not too bad. Can't thank you guys enough for watching. I truly mean that, and I hope I do get to see you on the next one.